Good morning. Alright, welcome back to RIU INSIGHT podcast. In this episode, me, Norfazlina, will be moderator for today. So, what is RIU INSIGHT? So, this RIU INSIGHT actually is a platform to share the knowledge and experience that are related to research and innovation matters. Good morning to everyone and welcome to today's discussion on textbook writing. Alright, so before we dive into our conversations, let me introduce our wonderful panelists for today.
Yay.
So our first panel, let's welcome Brother Ahmad Rauyani Bin Ab Hamid. He is a lecturer from LMD. And Brother Rauyani also head of RKL. How are you, Brother Rauyani, today?
Alhamdulillah, a bit nervous, but yeah, try to enjoy the
You look
podcast.
so handsome and glow face, alright?
Every day.
Every day, Alhamdulillah,
joking.
mashallah.
Yeah, but thank you so much, RIU, for inviting me to be one of the guests. I think this is my first appearance in any podcast, so yeah, exciting. But inshallah, I try my best to share my insights. Not RIU insight, but my insights.
Oh, inshallah. Thank you.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Alright, so now next we have our Madam Hazaliza Binti Mat Zean. She's a lecturer from Maths department. Welcome, Madam Haza. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And thank you for having me also. And I'm not really prepared, and this is the first time that I've been invited to a podcast, so I am very
First timers,
nervous. Yes.
I think it's your first time for podcast today.
All over the first timers.
Yeah, okay. Hey, thank you. So, Alhamdulillah, you are very fortunate to have such a distinguished panel with us today. So, thank you to both of you for joining us today. So, without further delay, so let's start. Alright, so before we dive into the details of this fascinating topic, so let's start by hearing from our esteemed guests about their experience in textbook writing. So let's begin with you, Brother Rauyani. Could you please share with us your experience in textbook writing and how many textbooks have you published?
Okay. How many textbooks? Wow, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thank you so much once again, RIU, for inviting me. MC, moderator, then Madam Hazaliza. Hazaliza is like, in Arabic, like Haza, like ini, Liza. Joking, yeah. How many textbooks have I published? I think 2021, last year too, and this, 3 or 4. Textbooks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Tapi to start the ball rolling, I would love to listen to Madam Hazaliza because I would regard her as my sifu juga.
Yeah.
Because looking at her, profile, she published with Senglish Learning. I think this is something that we would love to learn.
Yeah.
Mungkin we can start with Madam first, if you don't mind.
Alright.
Yeah, then I can share the whole processes, inshallah.
Alright, thank you, Brother Rauyani. Alright, so we go to Madam Haza. So could you please share with us your experience in textbook writing and how many textbooks have you published?
Alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. The first textbook that I worked on was statistics. And actually, when we first wrote it, we did not actually take it to any publisher. We didn't even get the ISBN because we thought that we would like to, make the book more presentable and
reading, teaching materials.
Yes, the materials and getting it together. So we only decided to have it published in, I don't remember which year, but it was with IIUM Press. And then my second book that I wrote, actually I did not, of course, write all these books by myself. Okay, it was a collaboration with my colleagues. There were about 6 or 7 of us.
And all of them, they are from
mathematics.
CFS.
Yes, from mathematics
great,
department. So the first book was statistics, and then the second book was mathematics 1. That is the general algebra, pre-calculus, trigo, and then the third was mathematics for nursing, and the only book that we published with Cengage was mathematics 1, and then for statistics we published with IIUM Press.
Wow. Okay.
And for mathematics for nursing, we decided to self-publish it. So
With ISBN, madam.
yes, with
Wow.
we just got the ISBN last week.
Okay,
Oh,
mathematics for
mashallah.
nursing.
So
What is it by self publications?
self-publication means you write the manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
And then you register. In this case, we registered the department. So the Department of Mathematics is actually a registered publisher.
Yeah.
And
That's what we did.
yes,
Department of Language Management.
and then we applied for ISBN under Mathematics department.
All right, under Maths department.
So it is a self-published book. When we self-publish, it means we own everything about the book. We own the manuscript, we own the copyright, we own the content. We can do anything with the content. So if we sell it, we get 100%
Wow,
of the
mashallah.
profit, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm excited to
Yes.
share as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of
Yeah.
self-publishing.
Yeah, beauty, yes.
But actually, it takes a lot of work because you do everything yourself.
All right, that's it one including proofread.
The
And so
proofreading, we write it and then we self-review it and then we
ChatGPT.
exchange among ourselves to correct it.
Okay.
So
So I would say that you have a great teamwork.
yes,
you,
it
yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to really know your team
Yeah.
and then you have to really have a very great teamwork.
Yeah.
The team must follow the schedule and everyone must be
In line.
enthusiastic about finishing the book.
Mashallah.
Not only enthusiastic, madam. They have, you need somebody to push you to
Yeah,
finish.
also
okay.
that.
Yeah, that's a very important point lah. To
Yes.
have a teamwork.
To have
Okay.
teamwork and
To
then
have teamwork who
Good
can
teamwork
push
can
you,
motivate you.
motivate
Yeah.
you.
So you can publish. You can produce a beautiful textbook. Something
Yes.
like that. All right.
a textbook that is complete. And actually, the main idea of publishing a textbook is for the convenience of our students. So they don't have to,
Yes.
if we want them to buy books from international publishers like that, that would be very expensive, right?
Yes,
And then
expensive.
also the content.
Content. Yeah.
Yeah, content-wise, we have to actually pick, right? This chapter,
Yeah.
this
Yes.
chapter. kan?
Several references then suit our textbook.
Yes.
Sorry, our course outlines.
Soalan.
So if we publish our own book, it is tailored to our students. It is tailored to our course outline.
True.
So it actually benefits the student in so many ways.
Right. So I say that is very wonderful, right? Madara, you want to
Yeah, I
add
think
something?
most of my
Nampak
points
je.
taken by madam.
Yeah.
Tapi I would love to share regarding self-publication. Because I'm not sure whether LMD, Department of Language Management, back then in 2020, I don't want to say this, but I think we were the first who registered our
Oh.
department as
Oh,
basically
mashallah.
publisher. Yeah, then I
That
don't.
one what year?
I think we have to differentiate between self-publication and
Oh, self-publish.
proper publication, because
Oh, okay.
when you register your department as a publisher, basically you have the freedom and autonomy.
Yeah.
But still you are a registered publisher under academic institution, which is to me amazing. So I think departments, you should consider doing that because you have the freedom, as said by madam.
Freedom, yeah.
The profits 100% yours. You are not really bound to
Yeah.
publishers guidelines,
Yes.
because sometimes we know that it's not easy to publish through IUM Press. But of course, in terms of quality, we cannot compare because IUM Press, it would be different.
Yeah.
Cengage should be different. But then when you register your department as a publisher, you have the autonomy. I think that's
inshallah.
the best thing that you can do. Talking about merit-based promotion, talking about APA, all those are related. But now let's talk about my experiences. I think my first experience publishing a book would be, I think this was an accident, because my supervisor when I did my masters was, I would say, smart enough. So she basically converted my thesis into a book. So the moment I checked my APA, because I was already a staff back then when I did my masters. So when I checked my APA, it's there already. So basically my professor, Prof. Nuraihan, she retired already. I learned a lot from her. Yeah, so kenapa macam like crying?
Tak apa.
I get my
We share, okay?
Okay, okay.
We share the
No.
experience.
Okay.
Yeah. You inspire me, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's the one who like taught me how to do it. So
Yeah.
basically she converted my thesis into a book. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was my first book.
Yeah, it's
And then later when
That's
I was the head of Department of Language Management, LMD, 2020. Yeah,
Oh.
so I think it's during PKP because I
PKP,
think
yeah.
we
Yeah.
talked about, doing something,
what you can
beneficial,
do, what you can produce during PKP.
instead of, being
They
productive
can
at home,
benefit to all, something like that.
Yeah, so I decided to register our department as a publisher. I think I have to give credit to Dr. Suhaizi from KSTCL. Yeah, I learned a lot from him. Yeah, so basically he's the one who like guided me how to do it. First I thought it was impossible, but then actually it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inshallah,
I think
that's great.
one experience that really that triggered me when I like looked at this Yasin booklet. That Yasin
mashallah.
booklet you can have ISBN.
Yes.
But to me it's like you just like
Reproducing.
replicate like the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
No, I'm not saying that this is not
Yeah,
good. I'm not like demeaning the effort. It's just that you just replicate the same content, but then you can have ISBN. If
Yes.
that effort can have an ISBN, why not?
Why
Because we have teaching materials.
Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes we have slides. I remember I looked at AED, Department of Architecture and Environmental Design. They actually compile the slides and use them as reference for the students. So I think that's a good effort. It's just that
Yes.
I don't know whether they have applied for SPN, but I think they should apply for SPN.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are so many ways that you can do. Yeah. So
Mashallah.
first thing first, consider registering
ISBN.
your department as
Yes.
as a publisher.
Publisher.
Then
right.
you notice that because I think if you look at ISBN, Dewan Pustaka, they actually encourage people to publish. Yeah. So by having that ISBN, you can actually freely and promote publications among staff. In fact, as academics, that's more important.
All right. I will see
Yeah.
that. Wonderful.
And then,
It's very
Yeah.
wonderful. Wow.
and then the thing is, I remember, if everybody also remembered, when we first went through the PKP, the MCO, we did not know how to go to class, right? We
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere, right?
Exactly.
So we were like trapped at home. I think that was the maximum time that I used to actually finish the statistics books because I had so much time. And then the thing about writing a book is, I don't know about other people, but if it's me, I need if I start writing, I cannot be distracted. So
yeah.
if I'm distracted, it's like I have to find the momentum again.
Yeah.
So I think that is the biggest challenge.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
you-
talk about like writer's block.
Yes,
Sometimes you
yes.
have the energy, but then
Yeah.
you feel blocked because of
you feel blocked.
because
And
the
then-
ideas are not there.
Yeah.
So this is where you need a team to actually
Yeah,
push you to
motivate
finish. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And then for mathematics, the biggest another challenge is that we have to put in the graphs,
True.
we have to put in the diagrams, and then we have to use the equations. And then if we put it in Microsoft Word like that, and if we try to compile, right, then things will the pagination, the margin, and everything.
Formatting.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
formatting
arrangement,
could get haywire,
Yeah.
and that is another challenge.
I
Okay.
see.
All right,
Okay,
great.
I have no idea.
Because you are writing in
Yeah, because language
paragraph,
basically we just want to focus.
right.
We just want to produce text.
Yes.
Yeah, faham.
Yeah. And then we have to, when our peers reviewed or vet or moderate our chapter, and then they say that this graph is like this, so you have to make it better. Okay, and that is the challenge because we have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that's great.
Yeah, especially
great
you choose to
teamwork.
self-publish. Yeah, I mean, consider if your department is a publisher, it's not really self-publish, right, madam, right?
Yeah.
Dia macam you publish properly, but then you have the freedom.
Yeah.
So it's like in between self-publish, basically self-publish. The idea is that you publish yourself, you as an individual, you publish yourself. But here with this regard, we are the publishers. Yeah, so we can publish
Alright.
with like proper processes and whatnot. Yeah, so what do we call that? Yeah,
Not
self-publish.
sure, self-publishing. I think if you register yourself, like Norfazlina,
Yeah, it's
register
possible, yeah.
yourself as a publisher, then whatever book that you're trying to apply the ISBN for has got to be under your name.
Yeah,
It means you cannot publish for other people.
exactly.
Yeah. So if we want to make a book where like 6 or 7 of our colleagues co-write the book, co-author the book, then it has to be published under a department like that.
Yeah,
It cannot
entity.
be
It has to be an
under
entity.
an entity.
Alright. Okay, great information.
Self-published.
Thank
I
you.
know. I'm looking for that word, like self-published somewhere here. Properly published.
I think both are properly
Like,
published.
yeah, in between.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it means they won't give you the ISBN if your nama penerbit, the publisher's name, is someone else, but the writer, the author, is someone else. Then they will send back or they will reply with, please change, or please this writer, please register themselves.
Okay, noted. Nice information. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
Right, it's
in
very
our context,
wonderful.
self-published,
Yeah.
basically that one
Yes.
that we are referring to. Basically, we have the department as a registered publisher. Then we can self-publish. Yeah, I
Alright.
think we go with that one in this
Okay.
context. Yeah.
Thank you. It's great experience. Great sharing information. All right. So now let's move on to our main discussions for today.
Oh,
All right.
That's not
That was-
the discussion.
Just now you just had introduction. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first,
shared a lot already. Joking.
let's we start with the brother now. First, Ken.
Boleh.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So what are the key steps involved in writing and publishing a textbook?
Key steps. If I may, Madam and Sister Fazlina, I think I can cram everything, all the processes or the step into one acronym. You know, acronym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe CREATE, CREATE, create.
Create.
So C, I would say, stand for like you need to conceptualize, or maybe C can be you need to consider your curriculum, consider the content of your course outlines.
Oh, content.
I think before we discuss the steps, the first thing first, we have to understand the context because we are publishing textbooks. So textbooks are very much academic in nature, right, madam? Yeah, because if you are writing maybe like novels, short stories, that would be different. But then textbooks, basically, ours is a bit easier because we know already the content of our course outlines. So yeah, first C, consider the content, consider curriculum. Yeah, conceptualize what you want to publish. For example, like Mathematics 1, then you already know exactly what to do, what to publish, what to write on. And then R, I would say review,
Review. Oh yeah.
research, refer to a lot of sources.
Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes we had a tendency that, okay, I've been teaching this subject for so many years, I don't need to refer to other books. Because when you write textbooks, okay, this is my another acronym, madam. Yeah, because we know textbooks are very much academic in nature. So academic writing, I always believe, because this is something that I've been teaching my student, make sure that your academic books are in line with CFS. Yeah, so C, basically it has to be concise.
Concise.
It has to be clear.
Clear.
It has to be factual and formal. It has to be structured and specific. Yeah, for example, in mathematics, you use such a specific terms
Yes.
that it has to be formal. It's not like novel, short stories,
Yeah.
and yeah. So again, let's go back to the steps. Yeah, and then E, create. E would be what? Yeah. So CREAT. Let's skip the E. I don't remember.
Is it enlightened? Enlightened? No.
E is.
Evaluate? No.
Engaging? No.
Engaging. Is it?
It's okay. Let's skip the one.
Okay, so we go to
Remember,
A.
go
Alright, we
back
go to
to
A.
Okay, but
A
A basically align. Yeah, so you have to
Align,
make sure
okay.
that it aligns with your content, with your
Yeah.
curriculum. But at the same time, I think A can also stand for audience.
Yeah, yes,
Always do your
audience.
audience analysis. Yeah, I think maybe many actually overlook the fact that it's important for you to do market survey, evaluate your audiences. Yeah, in our case, our students.
Audience,
But then
yes.
our students, they are actually like like similar groups of students. I would say you get every year because they are they just finish an SPM. We know their level of proficiency.
Yeah.
We know their age. Yeah, so we already know their needs or their profile basically.
Alright, their
Yeah,
needs.
so audience analysis is very important. And then CREAT.
T?
So basically T is that you need to test.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
especially when you choose to self-publish, okay, this is I would say the biggest challenge. How do you make sure that your manuscripts are of quality? Yeah, so because when you publish with proper publishers like IUM Press, Cengage, they have audit, they have like proofreaders, they have editors. But in our case, we don't have those. So this is where you have to establish that process. So for example, at LMD, we actually have this form, we call it manuscript. No, sorry, reviewer manuscript in a form where
reviewer
we
manuscript.
actually submit our manuscripts to subject matter experts.
Okay.
So once they comment, then we have the authors, they have to actually consider and improve accordingly.
The subject matter expert, is it internal or external?
It depends.
It depends.
If you can get external, that would be good. Sometimes when you send to internal subject matter experts, because they have been teaching the same subjects over and over, so perhaps they would give like similar inputs.
Yes.
So this is where you have to reach out to external reviewers so that you can get different point of view, I would say.
Right.
And then T can also stand for teamwork. As mentioned by Madam, teamwork is very important.
Very important.
Yeah, very important. Trust me. I have to give credit to one of the team members, Mr. Amirul. He's the one who always like pushes us. He would make sure that we follow the deadlines and so forth. You need that kind of person in your team so that you can get things done. It's not easy actually, textbooks because you have to remember you are going to provide guides for your students. So if your guides are not accurate, basically you are giving inaccurate information. Yeah, so make sure that you have somebody who is well versed, familiar, motivated.
Yes.
Penting tu, sangat penting.
Very important.
Yeah.
Motivated.
Yeah.
Motivated. Yes.
Create. And
Last
then
one E.
E. Kenapa lah? What's wrong with E? I don't know.
Okay. It's
Oh,
okay.
E, education. That last E,
Oh.
education, basically, publication lah, publishing. Either you self-publish or you send your manuscripts to,
Any publisher,
renowned
international
publishers
publishers.
like Press and whatnot. If I remember that E, I get back to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
we get back later. All right. Thank you, Brother Rao.
Most welcome.
It's very detailed explanation. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Now we go to Madam Haza. Can you please share with us the key steps involved in writing and publishing a textbook?
Basically, it's the same as what Brother Rao has shared just now. Firstly, you have to identify why is it that you want to write the book. Mostly because you want to facilitate your students.
Yes.
You want to facilitate your colleagues who will be teaching the subject, the course, and then maybe it's just it's another you've been an academic for so many years, for 10 years, for 20 years. At least you must be producing or you must be publishing at least one publication, at least one. Right?
Yeah.
Because we are academic, right? So we have to at least have written something throughout our career.
True.
And then the other process is you have to identify, just like Brother Rao has said, identify the audience, which are the students, and then identify or the content of the book, and then the outline of the book also. So that one that there should be the I don't remember the acronym, but it's like something like you have to have the introduction and then the core concepts,
Yes.
and then what kind of examples that you would like to have. The example should have a flow where it must start with something that is very easy to something that is moderate.
Moderate, yes.
But you have to leave the difficult parts or difficult questions in the exercises, not in the examples actually.
Oh, okay.
Because that would test the students. And then if you put you start the book with some very difficult example, the student, the struggling student, they will feel demotivated.
Yes, demotivated.
Because they think that it's difficult already. So you have to start with something that they can do, so that they would be more inspired, because they think that, oh, I can do this. Then that's it. And then if your textbook is meant to be a workbook, in our department, we
you have
define the
workbook and
workbook.
textbook, I see.
Yes, the workbook is a book whereby the students can write.
Oh,
You leave you know, you leave some empty spaces there, and so that they can actually do their
Answer
solution, that they can answer it right there and then in
Practice
the
book
book,
lah,
the
basically.
practice book. So if you have to have the workbook, then maybe you can add some class exercises where they can actually practice during class, because as you know, the nature of mathematics is lots of hands-on, practice like that.
Right.
And then the last part of the chapter, we would just put the review exercises. Review exercises is actually, it's like you know, a compilation of whatever learning outcomes or learning objective in that topic or in that chapter. So it will be something that is jumbled and mixed according to the topics. And then in some of our books, we also provided the sample exam question at the end.
I see.
Yeah,
That's
so that
interesting.
so that they can, you know, they can have the experience,
Familiar with that.
familiar with the format of the exam.
Okay. It's great.
I'm curious. So do you think it's a good step starting with your course outlines as like a structure to your books?
Yeah. We normally, you know, chapter 1. So we just write there at the end of the book or at the end of this chapter, the students will be able to, and then we just write the course outline there.
Yeah, learning outcome.
The learning outcomes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So thank you for the detailed explanation. MashaAllah, it's very wonderful.
Sifu.
Sifu. Both of you are Sifu. All right. It's inspired me. All right. So moving on.
You are more
Moving
Sifu
on.
then.
All right. So how can we, Brother Rao? All right. How do you determine the target audience and level of the complexity for your textbook?
How to determine? I think it's very straightforward because we are receiving the same kind of students.
Yes,
Of course, we
yes.
talk about other issues like mental health and whatnot. But then in terms of knowledge, it just, add into what Madam mentioned, prior knowledge is important. Because when you are producing textbooks, you have to consider what they have learned before. For example, you have produced Mathematics 1. Then you are going to write or you are going to produce another textbook which is a continuation of
Yes.
Mathematics 1. Then you want to produce Mathematics 2. Yeah, so this is where you have to consider the prior knowledge of your students. So talking about the level of complexity, target audience, I think we have the same set of students in terms of competency. So that's why if you talk about language proficiency, our SALPAD team, they always regard CFS students either they are under B1 or B2, CEFR. Common European Framework. Yeah, so this is how we classify. If you are like proficient, C2 for example, native speaker and so forth. Tapi for CFS students, we normally regard them as B1 or B2. Why is it important for you to know this? So that your language is important.
Yes.
I mean, the language that you use in your textbooks basically matches their language proficiency. Sebab to me, when talk about writing textbooks, we are dealing with reading skill. And reading is very much receptive in nature. Unlike, giving presentations. Giving presentation, we call it productive skill, where you produce. But here, you basically have to read. Yeah, so our students, basically, they have to get the same, they have to make sure, we have to make sure that they read something that suits their level or their language proficiency, either B1 or B2.
Yeah.
So that would be number one, meaning to say that consider the language of our students, B1, B2. And then in fact, my masters, again, talking about my masters, I did on readability, reading level. Yeah, so for our students, it's better for us to write our text suiting their suit level 8 until 11, which means we are writing books for secondary school students.
Yeah.
So meaning to say that our language has to suit those people. Yeah, instead of making our textbooks too high, thinking that they would be able to appreciate. And sometimes they are not able to appreciate because they don't understand certain terms. Certain structures of sentences and so
Means that
forth.
the language must always suit with the target audience.
Exactly.
Yes, language especially.
So in terms of target audience, I think it's very similar because we have like similar students every year. CFS students coming from SPM, unless you have academy where they are coming from different backgrounds and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's my respond to that question.
Right, great. All right, thank you, Brother Rao. So,
welcome.
Madam Haza, can you please share with us how do you determine the target audience and the level of complexity for your textbook?
Basically, it's the same because we already can, anticipate the level of students. They are SPM leavers that will come and study with us. So if we just follow the course outline, the course outline is already tailored to the syllabus and also tailored to the what kind of whatever take of value that they have, right? SPM, right?
Okay.
So we just tailor our books according to that. Also, we just follow the course outline very, very strictly. So inshallah, the book won't be, something that is off the grade like that.
Faham.
Right. So,
If I may add, so basically 2 points in terms of knowledge. I think it's already addressed by the course outline, the curriculum that we have. I mean to say that we already like arrange accordingly according to their level of their knowledge.
Yeah.
And then second thing, the language.
Language.
So if you can consider these two things, that would be great lah.
Oh, great. Right. Excellent points from both of you.
Most welcome.
So next, we go to the next one. So what, Brother Rao? Kau, Brother Haza, which one first?
Any of us.
And that's all right. Okay. So what are some effective strategies for organizing and structuring the content?
Effective strategies.
Effective strategies. Firstly,
The same point.
it's
Consider
the
the
same point,
cost and
actually.
outcome.
The
The
cost
outcome,
outcome.
the cost
PLO.
outline, the target
PLO pula
audience, the
LO.
language level, right?
And also, for mathematics, what we do is we actually have to have a template first using Microsoft Word.
Wow.
So that if you have like 5 or 6 people writing the book, and everybody would take one chapter, so they will use the same template so that it won't go, like this person will produce something and the other person will produce something. No. So the template is already you already fixed it. The font,
Yes.
the spacing, the indent, the font size, and also the layout. So everybody will just follow that template.
Alright.
How many examples? How
That's great.
many? How many exercises that you would like in that particular chapter.
Right. Brother Rao, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I think almost similar.
Yes,
I love points mentioned by Madam. For example, mathematics, they include past exams.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are good. One of the good strategies that you can use. Basically, of course, you can start with CLO. I mean, consider the course outlines.
Course outline, yes.
Normally in the course outlines you have CLO. From CLO, then you come up with LO for each
LO,
topic.
alright.
For example, if you are teaching Islamic studies. So the first topic is Islam. Then the CLO is to explain about Islam. Then
Alright.
perhaps your topic is about how to explain the pillars of Islam. Yeah, so you go by the course outline. I mean, the course outline should be the guide for you to structure and strategize.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course, you can include all those quizzes ataupun past exams.
exam,
Yeah.
right.
I think I saw one book by Department of Legal Studies. Yeah, they actually put learning outcome for each topic.
Yeah.
So that is actually very effective. Yeah. So
Okay.
Also, if we put the past exam or past quizzes, the sample exam, that will be actually the selling point for the student. They actually, students, they are always looking for past year's paper, right?
Yeah.
So
They love for past year
yeah,
actually.
they love past year's paper.
one more
Alright.
point, if I may add,
Huh.
I think it's good for you to have an editor.
Editor,
yeah, somebody
yes,
who
yes.
can proofread, somebody who can actually make sure that everything is of the same tone. Yeah, because sometimes one person is very much proficient. Yeah, so they have no issues to write, but one would have would struggle with the language. Yeah, so you need somebody who can actually standardize
Oh,
language.
okay.
Formatting.
Yeah.
So
It's a
you must
great
have an
teamwork, yes.
editor,
Okay.
proofreader.
So
Right.
so that the whole book it will be in the same tone, right?
Yeah, sometimes macam you will learn this next student. Yeah, so basically you are not. It's not like consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, when you use like U language, I call it U language. You have to make sure that it's consistent throughout.
Consistency, alright,
Yeah.
important. Right. So obviously that is very useful insights. Then,
Thank you.
how do you ensure the accuracy and relevance of the informations that included in the textbook?
I think my point previously, having an editor sent to subject matter experts.
Yeah, so expert,
Refer to
yes. course.
books, references.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of readings. Yeah, don't rely on ChatGPT too. I mean, you
Yeah.
can use ChatGPT to actually brainstorm, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Brainstorming,
yeah,
yes.
ChatGPT is a good resource that we should use to me. But then you have to read a lot first as an author. You have to be the subject matter expert,
Subject matter expert.
and then always include editor, editor of the
Editor.
book, and proofreader,
Proofreader,
and
yes.
reviewer. Yeah.
For
Wallahu alam.
for mathematics book, we are actually understaffed in terms of book writing, so we cannot actually appoint an editor. But what we do is we mutually check and make corrections. We
Nice.
exchange the chapters among ourselves, and we make corrections. Okay, we point out the mistake.
It's okay,
And
madam.
and then another
Understaffed, but then more profit.
Yeah, more profit. Important.
and then another thing is we actually, we actually make the book go through at least one semester before we publish it.
see.
So at least it has gone through like a trial
Yes,
period.
trials, or we can say that as like testing
Maybe.
to test is either
To test,
the
yes.
content is suit with the CFS students or not.
Also the mistakes
Yes.
along the way.
Okay.
Now, our style, I mean, we try to publish as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That if there are corrections, then we can have like second edition,
Second
third
edition,
edition.
yes.
Yeah.
Then you get second SBN, is it?
Yeah,
That's great.
Sort of.
All right. So
I think
is
it depends on how you want to strategize. lah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a great strategies. And last one. Okay. So can you share any tips for making the textbook engaging and accessible for the students?
For engagement is sometimes when you write a book, you actually have to, you must be able to be on the on the receiving end of the textbook. So you have to be able
Interesting.
to anticipate what, if we're writing a textbook, what would you want if you are the one using the book? What would you want?
Okay.
Okay.
Put yourself in reader's shoes,
yes,
basically.
yes.
Alright.
So in my case, I would want a set of examples that are so easy to follow.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point because sometimes
Yes.
we bring our character as a teacher, not as a reader.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
The examples that are easy, the examples that would help me, and then the notes, and then the exercises. And also, if possible, I would like to have the final answer at the back so I can check my work. The final answer only, not necessarily the steps or the solution, the final answer. So I can actually check my work, whether I've done it correctly or not.
All right. Secret? Padara? Any tips that you want to share with us?
How to make it engaging.
Yeah, engaging.
I think, again, talking about reading comprehension, there are two factors that you have to consider. Text factors and reader factors.
Text factors?
Yeah, text factor
Oh,
basically
text
how do you
factors.
make sure it's readable, easy to read, typography, formatting,
Okay.
the colors, the layout, and so forth. But then we have reader factors.
Reader factors.
So in our case, sometimes we have to consider, reader factors would be age, gender, prior knowledge of our students. Sometimes, because we are dealing with young adults,
Yeah.
they know exactly how to motivate themselves.
Yeah.
So what is important is how to make our textbooks relevant to them.
Yeah,
So you have to
relevant, yes.
basically explain in class, okay, this textbook would provide you this and that. So if they feel this textbook is relevant, then they know how to engage. Sometimes you don't have to force your students or your readers to engage because they are like mature readers. Unlike kids, we need to include, colorful
Yeah.
illustrations. Sometimes you have all this
Something that attract-
3D
Yeah.
designs, kan? Tapi because they are kids, but now we are talking about young adults. Yeah, so when we talk about young adults, adult readers. So basically, they know how to actually navigate through the text. So our job is to establish relevance. As mentioned by Madam, we try our best to put in their shoes, making things easy for them to understand. Consider the language, then you are good to go, and then include learning outcomes. Yeah, then hopefully they are able to, engage and communicate with the text easily and successfully. Yeah, I think that those are my points for that.
Okay, so great. Obviously, that great points.
Thank you.
All right, so yeah, before we end our session for today,
That's it.
any last word from both of you, Badarani and Madam Haza? Any last word? Any last word?
Last
for,
words.
Yeah.
Last words. Based on my experience, yeah, I would actually encourage everyone who is an academic or otherwise to produce at least or publish at least a book throughout their career,
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of work actually. It takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of sacrifice, especially time wise.
True.
And adding to that the fact that we do not have a special, like a sabbatical from teaching to
Yeah.
actually write books. We have to write the book while we are also doing our main job, which is
Yes,
teaching.
teaching.
So actually it's a lot of hard work. But once you see your book, you got the ISBN, and then you see your book in print, and then you can actually, you can actually hold it, and then you
Oh, that
see your
feeling, yeah.
students using it, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment is so priceless actually. Well, we cannot even describe it. It's a feeling of, yeah, I've done this, and then Alhamdulillah, I have done this.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
Brother
Wow.
Rauyani?
Very inspiring.
Yeah.
Last word from me, I would say, I think this is something that we have to do, writing books. I think that's the legacy that we would love to leave behind.
Yes,
If you look
that's
at,
what
great-
legacy. The
yeah,
legacy.
The legacy.
if you look at the
yes.
great scholars like, Imam Nawawi, all those, great
Mashallah.
scholars, basically they left books.
Yes.
Yeah, they,
Yeah,
they
so we
all
should
have
we should do the
books.
same as academics. We leave books so that future, generations can
Yes.
read, learn. And hopefully our names are there and they would
Pahala also
appreciate.
mengalir.
Yeah,
Yes, I
hopefully.
think,
Jariah,
yeah,
mashallah.
Ahmad
Yeah.
Jariah, because it facilitate the students' learning, right?
Mm.
Mashallah.
And then please consider self-publication. That helps a lot in so many
Inshallah.
ways. Yeah, I think that's those are my points and last
Alright.
words. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of you for your
Thank you so much.
insightful contributions. So this has been an enlightening discussions. So I appreciate everyone's participation and the valuable knowledge that you have shared.
Thank you.
Right. So with that, we conclude our today's sessions. Thank you, Brother Rauyani
Most welcome.
and Madam Haza,
Thank you.
for joining us,
Thank you for having
sharing
us.
your expertise. It's a great, wonderful experience, knowledge that you share with us. So before that, thank you to CFS IUM Library.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
Oh,
library,
sorry,
for
library.
hosting this
I thought the
wonderful
RIU.
podcast.
Okay, thank you, library, for allowing us to use it.
Yeah, all right. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so
you.
much. RIU, thanks. Assalamualaikum.